I am Cecilia Fajardo-Hill. I'm an art historian and a curator working in Latin American and Latinx art. I've written an essay on the early work by Christina Fernandez. So I am going to be talking about a piece called Guillermina Tellez from 1995. This represents one of the early works by the artist. Even though the work of Christina Fernandez changes a lot after the 2000s, I am particularly interested in these early works, in the political agency and the performativity that the works have. And some of the conceptual and aspects of the work, the experimental aspects of the work, are then continuing on as the work develops over time. This is a gendered piece. And it's important to understand that the piece, even though it has an indexical quality, is not really documentary. She tackles social issues of the time in a very political way. And this was done by appropriating the history of Guillermo Tell, which is a European history of a hero to the poor. She actually helps to free the Mexican from the dictatorship of Porfirio Diaz by defying him. And she portrays herself both as a soldadera and an chola in an installation, photographic installation that includes 4 urban photographs of LA and the 2 self-portraits. This is a heroic female figure that it's conceived as the ancestry to all Chicanas and Chicanos, is like a hair story. She identifies both with a Mexican and an indigenous ancestry between the soldadera, which is a female fighter in the Mexican Revolution. And in this case, if you look at the image has a woman looking in a sort of an indigenous woman that has bullets across her chest and a weapon, and she's actually photographed from beneath. So she's a very empowering figure, powerful figure, which normally does not the case when you represent indigenous people. And on the other hand, you have the portrait of the chola, which represents a particular social entity within the Chicanx, Chicano history, which normally was condemned as a sort of outcast of society. And she's actually portrayed from the back with painted red nails with an apple on the head, referring back to the story or the myth of Guillermo Tell. And then her arms are up. So it really denotes both sort of a sense of fragility, as if she was being put in jail, which has been a situation that a lot of Chicano people have actually endured, a lot of sort of harassment from the police and social harassment. So there is a combination between these 2 portraits of both resistance, resilience, power, and also a sense of fragility and a sense of a sort of precarious situation within society. So this is a piece that represents very much this idea of Nepantla by the writer Gloria Anzaldúa, that was important to the artist, which means in the middle, and we call also a Nepantlera, someone like this figure here, and also occupying this sort of sense of a hybrid identity that is a borderland identity between Mexican, indigenous, contemporary, urban, Chicana woman. So it promotes a conceptual and ideological contradiction and a tension, which is very much the type of situation that, a Chicana identity may be embodied today. But also, very importantly in this piece is the fact that, the ancestry of the Chicanas and the Chicanos is in this liberatory, mythical figure of Guillermina Tellez, that is a woman, that is brave. So there is a sort of a feminist narrative in this piece. So I think this is a description of this work.